Hi everybody, my name is Justin Stoney and I'm the founder of New York Vocal Coaching here in New York City. Welcome to episode 18 of Voice Lessons to the World, the show where we want to help you guys as singers by answering your questions from all over the world. I'll give you a chance to ask questions later, but our question for this week comes from Anna R. in Galveston, Texas. And Anna says, "Dear Justin, I want to work hard at my singing. Will it help me to do crunches and to develop six-pack abs?" That's awesome, Anna. I thank you for that great question. We think as singers that we need to have really strong abs because we know that our singing in some ways comes from down here. And so a lot of singers say, well, maybe I ought to develop my ab muscles to make me a better singer. It's a great question. We'll start today with talking about being in shape and whether that's a good thing. Now, it seems obvious that it would be a good thing, but actually a lot of people in the past have said, well, you know, bigger people, more rotund people, you see a lot of opera singers that are larger in mass, that will help your voice, that maybe actually it'd be better to gain weight to become a good singer. And while you might actually get a bigger sound if you were a bigger person, I would say that ultimately trying to gain weight to become a better singer is probably not the best strategy. I do think that you're right, Anna, that there's something to being in good shape to become a better singer. If you are in shape, you will have a better lung capacity. I do recommend a lot of cardio exercise to have really great breathing. And of course, just having good muscle tone and good flexibility, that's going to help you just to have good musculature throughout your body. And then finally, being in good shape also contributes to good alignment and good posture, which is also good for you as a singer. So I do think that being in shape ultimately is a much better thing for you as a singer than, say, trying to gain weight to increase the size of your voice. But then to your question, Anna, is it good to do crunches? And is it good to develop your ab region? And to that I say, not necessarily. A lot of singers really do think that if they do a lot of crunches and they develop strong abs, that will help their voice. And really that's not necessarily related in any kind of way. Remember that your breath support is a system of holding air in the body. So if you have strong abs, those are exhale muscles. If you're working on your six-pack or your sides and your obliques, that's really not going to contribute to your breathing for singing. That might look good on stage, but it doesn't actually do anything to help your singing. It's actually the opposite of breath support, right? We need to hold the belly in some ways open and not bring it in too fast and hard like what a crunch would do. So it won't help you directly to do crunches and ab work. But then, on the other hand, we don't need to be afraid of them. A lot of singing teachers and singers have actually worried about whether, having a six-pack would affect their singing, whether having strong abs would affect their singing negatively. And some people have actually sort of let themselves go through here in order to become better as singers. And that is not something that you need to fear and not something that you need to do. You can have strong abs. The key is, can you release them? Certainly we see lots of Broadway performers with very, very developed abs, and a lot of pop rock performers as well have a good abdominal core, and that's not affecting their singing. They're very, very good singers. The key is being able to release what you've done. If you've contracted these muscles, you have to be able to keep them open when you sing. The only muscle that we really want to be engaged when we sing is the low abs, and that, again, is only a really gentle thing. So, again, it's not a bad thing, it's not something to be afraid of, but also it's not something that's going to help you to have too strong of an ab region. Then, how about some things to look out for as far as working out and developing your abs? Dancers. A lot of dancers have a core that they've developed since maybe 3 or 4 years old. If you've had a lot of ballet training or you've been dancing for a decade or more, a lot of times singing can be difficult for you. And the reason why is because of that state of contraction. Bodybuilders and people who really work out excessively also have this issue sometimes with their singing as well. You need to be able to undo what you've done. So you need to work against the core. Open the belly, open the sides when you breathe. Make sure that all the bringing in can be brought out as well. The other thing is neck muscles. When you're doing crunches, it's very, very important to watch out that you don't tighten these muscles. A lot of times the abs and the neck can get connected. This is why sometimes when people leave a Pilates class, they feel tense in the neck, or when they've done a lot of crunches, they feel tense in the neck. You want to make sure that you're supporting your head and not linking these two muscles, because that way, anytime you breathe, you might actually be contracting here and contracting here. So watch out for that pair of the neck and the abs. So then what are a few things that we can do about this? If you're a dancer or bodybuilder who's overdone it, or if you're just thinking about how you can be healthy and still keep that strong core. First thing I recommend, we'll talk about this in future episodes, both of these things. First is yoga. Yoga is a great way to be in shape. It does alignment, it does flexibility and strength, and most importantly, it incorporates breathing. It makes sure that you can keep open here, even if you're working it. So yoga is going to work against some of those overly gripped tendencies. And then finally, you can just do some breathing exercises on your own. Make sure that you can expand and contract freely, and also do some long exhales or even some hisses along to make sure that you're not bringing this in too violently and too firmly. So, Anna and all, I do recommend being in great shape and getting a routine for you, just for your overall health and for the health of your singing. But don't overdo those crunches. You can be strong there, but just make sure you can undo what you've done. I hope it's been helpful for you guys as singers today. If you have questions, you can send an email to questions@voicelessonstotheworld.com. We just encourage you to just not lose that joy, don't lose that passion. Stay in great shape, work out your body, but also work out your voice every day if you can. Get with a great voice teacher in your area that you trust. If you guys are in New York City, you can check us out at www.newyorkvocalcoaching.com. And if you like these videos, you can check out www.voicelessonstotheworld.com. I'm Justin Stoney. We'll see you next time.